Hello students, today's topic is communicative approach. Okay, so before starting the video, I would like to request everyone to be very attentive. So in this video, we will focus on certain points. The points we are going to focus on are communicative approach, principles for teachers, principles specifically for learners, advantages and disadvantages. So let's start the video. Initially, we must understand the meaning of communicative approach. Okay, there are many approaches of teaching English. So, among those approaches, communicative approach is one of the best. So, here we have 2 points. Okay, what are the points? Just have a look. Point number one, learning language comes through having to communicate real meaning. Now, when we have the objective of learn a particular language, and that skill of learning a particular language comes what through having to communicate real meaning. That means we must understand how to convey the real meaning, okay, to the outer world. So in this regard, we have this particular approach, communicative approach. That means this approach enables a student, a learner, okay, to convey the real meaning of that particular context or anything. Okay, so this is all about the first point. What is the first point? Learning language comes through having to communicate real meaning. That means you need to learn how to communicate yourself to the outer world in a meaningful manner. Okay, what is the second point? Communicative approach is also known as functional notional approach. Now we have to understand what is the meaning of functional notional approach. Okay, functional refers to the communication, okay, and notional refers to conveying the meaning. Okay, so we have two things here. The first one is what? Functional, and the second one is notional. Functional means we'll have to concentrate on the communication, okay, how to communicate ourselves to the outer world with the help of the English language. Okay, and what is the second point? Notional approach. Notional approach means how to convey a real meaning to the outer world. Okay, you will need to focus on getting the point. So that is why communicative approach is also known as what? Functional notional approach. Okay, so this is all about communicative approach. Now we'll proceed to the next slide. So in this slide, we are going to discuss the principles, okay, specifically for the teachers, principles of communicative approach. So for teachers, what are the principles? Just have a look. Number one, teacher facilitates the class. So in general, we can say teacher is the leader, okay, in a classroom. But here, teacher does not play the role of leader, okay. Teacher is the monitor only. He will have to facilitate the class, or he will have to monitor the class. He cannot play the role of the leader, okay, in the classroom. Getting the point? That means this approach, communicative approach, is purely student centric. It is not teacher centric. This is all about the first principle. What is the second point? Activities should be related to real life situations. Okay, when the teacher is going to introduce different kinds of activities in the classroom, then those activities should be related to real life situations. You will have to give examples from real life. You will have to introduce activities from real life. Okay, so this is one of the principles specifically for teachers, okay, of communicative approach. What is the third one? Lessons should be topic or theme based. Okay, the lessons selected in the classroom, okay, for the students, those lessons should be topic or theme based. Okay, so this is one of the important principles, okay, of communicative approach specifically for the teachers. Okay, while teaching, teachers need to make sure that the lessons he or she is choosing, okay, those lessons should be topic or theme based. Okay, what is the next point? Learners should be engaged in more useful and authentic language. So while teaching the students, okay, or while teaching the learners, okay, in case of what communicative approach, the teacher must understand that he is trying to engage the students in more useful and authentic, that means realistic language. Okay, the language he is teaching should be useful for the students and it should be authentic too. Okay, these are all about the principles of what communicative approach specifically meant for the teachers. Okay, so now we'll proceed to the next slide. So in this slide, we will discuss the principles specifically for learners. Okay, what are the points? Just have a look. Number one, trial and error method. So here we will have to understand that the learners will have to go through a particular method, that is trial and error. Okay, they might have certain mistakes while learning something, but they will have to understand, they will have to learn from their own mistakes, and after that they will be able to improve. Getting the point? So this is the first principle for the learners, okay, regarding communicative approach. What is the first principle? Trial and error method. Okay, what is the second one? Practice to accuracy. Here the learners are expected to practice, okay, again and again, okay, so that they can attain what? Accuracy. Okay, so this is one of the principles specifically for the learners regarding communicative approach. Okay, what is the third one? Learners interaction with each other. So in this approach, the interaction among the learners, okay, it is expected. So here, if the learners are not in a state to interact with each other, then this communicative approach will never be effective. So for effective what outcome of this approach, the learners need to interact with each other. Okay, so this is one of the most important principles, okay, of communicative approach specifically for the learners. Okay, what is the next point? Learners are encouraged to speak and communicate from day one. So here this is a very important principle specifically meant for the learners. What is the point? Learners are encouraged, learners are expected to speak and communicate right from the very first day. Okay, the lesson or the class is, in a sense we can say, initiated by the teacher. Okay, so these are all about the principles which are meant for the learners. Okay, regarding what communicative approach. I hope you understood. Now we'll proceed to the next slide. So in this slide, we are going to discuss advantages of communicative approach. Okay, just have a look. What are the advantages? Number one advantage is the interaction between students and teachers. So in teaching learning process, okay, the interaction between students and teachers, okay, this is very important. And we can proudly say that in communicative approach this interaction takes place. What type of interaction it is? The student teacher interaction. So that is why it is one of the most important advantages of communicative approach. Okay, what is the next one? Student centric. I have already mentioned that this communicative approach is not teacher centric. Okay, this approach is what? Student centric. So this is one of the most important advantages of communicative approach. What is the third one? Fluency is the primary goal. Here the teacher will have to concentrate on the fluency of the students. Okay, they will have to make it sure that the learners or the students can speak fluently. So this is one of the advantages of communicative approach. What is the next one? It is task based. That means here this approach believes what? In learning by doing. Getting the point? It is activity based approach. It is a task based approach. So that is why this is one of the advantages of what? Communicative approach. What is the next one? Focus on meaning. So I have already mentioned that this approach specifically focuses on conveying the real meaning okay, regarding a context or regarding anything that is taught to the students. So here the focus is on meaning, and that is why in a sense we can say conceptually the learners get an opportunity to develop themselves. So this is one of the most significant advantages of communicative approach. What is the advantage? It focuses specifically on meaning, okay, conveying the real meaning. What is the next one? Communicative competency. So in a sense we can say communicative approach all the time focuses on communication, focuses on conveying the real meaning. So while focusing on the skill of communication, while focusing on the skill of conveying the real meaning, in a sense we can say automatically the learners they attain what? Communicative competency. Okay, getting the point? So this is one of the advantages of what? Communicative approach. So these are all about the advantages of communicative approach. Now we will discuss the disadvantages, okay, in the next slide. Just have a look. The disadvantages of communicative approach are: number one, accuracy of grammar and pronunciation is not focused. So in communicative approach, exactly we can say that the accuracy of grammar and the accuracy of pronunciation, okay, all these things are not highlighted properly. So this is in a sense we can say one of the disadvantages of communicative approach. Okay, what is the second point? The monitoring ability of the teacher must be very good, as the teacher should play the role of what? A monitor. He is not playing the role of a leader. So in that case he will have to be a very good monitor. If the teacher is not a good monitor, then we cannot say that this approach is in a sense we can say effective. Okay, for effective outcome the teacher must be a good monitor. So this is one of the disadvantages of what? Communicative approach. What is the next one? It does not focus on error correction. This approach specifically focuses on communication, fluency, etc. So here in a sense we can say it doesn't focus on error correction. So this is one of the what disadvantages of communicative approach. What is the next one? No grammar rules are present, as this approach only focuses on what? Communication, conveying the real meaning. So in that case we can say grammar rules are absent here. Okay, grammar rules are not in a sense we can say given importance. So this is one of the disadvantages of communicative approach. What is the next one? It is not suitable for overcrowded class. If the class is overcrowded, then from that particular point of view we can say that this approach is not at all suitable. Okay, this is suitable only for small class. Okay, so that the teacher can concentrate on each and every student, each and every learner. If the classroom is overcrowded, then this approach is not at all suitable. Okay, so these are all about the disadvantages of communicative approach. So I hope you understood. Thank you. Keep learning.